Hello there, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to dive deep into the story of one of the youngest and most exciting phenomena to have emerged in the world of international table tennis in recent years. We are talking, of course, about Wen Ruibo. If you're a regular follower of this sport, I'm sure this name is already familiar to you, especially given what has happened in this very month of March 2026. But if not, don't worry, because today we're going to do a comprehensive review of his career, from his beginnings to his emergence as one of the greatest promises, now a reality, of Chinese and world table tennis. In recent weeks, Wen Ruibo has gone from being a prospect in junior categories to making headlines in all specialized media. The reason? His impressive performance at the WTT Champions Chongqing 2026, a top-tier tournament held in mid-March. In this event, when, at just 19 years old, not only reached the final but also eliminated some of the sports giants along the way. But who exactly is Wen Ruibo? Where does he come from? What is his playing style? What can we expect from him in the future? That's exactly what we're going to discover over this hour. We're going to analyze his profile, his statistics, his most important victories, and also his defeats, because you learn from those too. We're going to break down his explosion onto the senior circuit at the beginning of 2026, and, of course, his incredible run to the final in Chongqing. So, get comfortable, because we have a lot to cover. Let's begin. To understand an athlete, the first thing is to know their foundations. And in Wen Ruibo's case, we're talking about a solid foundation, built from a very young age. Wen Ruibo was born in China on January 5, 2007. This is important because, at the time of recording this video in March 2026, he is only 19 years old. It's important not to confuse him with other young players, but his birth date places him in that new generation that is taking over from the giants of the last decade. Wen Ruibo has an offensive playing style and uses the classic right-handed grip, known as the shake hand grip. This means he plays with his right hand and his grip resembles a handshake. Within this style, he is categorized as an attacking player, meaning he doesn't wait for the opponent's mistakes, but seeks to impose his game from the very first point. Regarding his physical characteristics, Wen Ruibo is 178 centimeters tall. That's approximately 5 feet 8 inches. It's a fairly standard height for modern table tennis, allowing him to have a good center of gravity and great mobility around the table. His trajectory in the professional circuit, measured in numbers by the ITTF, is simply impressive for his age. To date, he has participated in 34 senior-level events, accumulating a total of 212 individual matches. Of those 212 matches, he has won 177 and lost 35. This gives us a win percentage that is simply spectacular, over 83%. These numbers are no coincidence. They reflect a constant progression and an innate ability to compete at the highest level. And although these figures are the average of his career, it was in the year 2026 that he made the big leap that has placed him in the spotlight. So far, he has already conquered one title in the senior category of the WTT circuit, the organization that runs the main professional tournaments. And speaking of titles and achievements, we can't overlook his foray into sponsorships in foreign leagues. Wen Ruibo is sponsored by the renowned Swedish brand Stiga, and for the 2026 season, he has signed with the French club GV Hennebon TT. This shows that his talent is already being recognized globally and that, in addition to his career on the Asian circuit, he is willing to gain experience in the competitive European leagues. If 2025 was a year of consolidation, 2026 has been, without a doubt, the year of Wen Ruibo's definitive explosion onto the international scene, and it all started in January. The first big warning shot was at the WTT Star Contender in Doha, Qatar. This tournament is one of the most important on the calendar, second only to the Grand Smashes and the WTT Finals. In Doha, Wen Ruibo, just 19 years old, reached the final of the men's singles draw, but the path to that final was truly sensational. In the semi-finals of that tournament, he faced none other than Brazil's Hugo Calderano. At that time, Cal was ranked world number 3. Yes, you heard that right, the number 3 in the world. And Wen Ruibo, a young man coming from the junior ranks, managed to defeat him. It was a match that went around the world and put the table tennis community on alert. China had a new generational talent, although he ultimately lost the Doha final against his compatriot Zhou Qihao. The runner-up finish and, above all, the victory against Calderano earned him a massive jump in the world rankings. By January 26, 2026, when Ruibo had reached world number 24, his highest historical position to date, it's important to note that, according to official ITTF records, his career best ranking is currently number 24, achieved in week 9 of 2026, right after his performance in Qatar. But the story didn't end in Doha, literally. Just a few days later, when Ruibo crossed the Persian Gulf to participate in the WTT Contender in Muscat, Oman. And there, he showed no mercy. In Muscat, Wen Ruibo displayed dreamlike table tennis. Match after match, he demonstrated why he's considered one of the greatest prospects from the Asian giant. He reached the final, and there he faced a tough nut to crack, Germany's Patrick Franziska. The final was a true thriller. The final score was 4-3 in favor of Wen Ruibo, but the partial scores reflect the intensity of the match: 11-5, 11-8, 16-14, 9-11, 8-11, 10-12, and an incredible 14-12 in the 7th and decisive set. This match was an example of mental fortitude. Wen Ruibo won 2 very tight sets, the 3rd and the 7th, by 16-14 and 14-12 respectively. He demonstrated that, in addition to talent, he has a capacity for endurance and competing under pressure that is typical of great champions. With this victory, Wen Ruibo achieved his first senior title on the WTT circuit, a title that, without a doubt, tasted like glory and confirmed that what happened in Doha was no coincidence. Suddenly, the world of table tennis had a new name to follow very closely. We now arrive at the central moment of our analysis, the WTT Champions Chongqing 2026. If Doha and Muscat were the introduction to society, Chongqing was the absolute confirmation. This tournament, held in March 2026, is in a higher category than Muscat, with a much more demanding draw and ranking points that can catapult a player into the elite. Wen Ruibo arrived in Chongqing with a clear objective: to continue gaining experience and, why not, cause an upset. What no one expected was that this 19-year-old would become the executioner of some of the most feared names in the circuit, and the road began in the best possible way. In the round of 16, Wen Ruibo faced Sweden's Truls, one of the most talented and media-friendly players today. Moregard, for those who don't know him, is the world runner-up, and, at that time, world number 2. Imagine the scene: a 19-year-old kid against the world runner-up in a top-tier tournament. Well, Wen Ruibo not only didn't back down, he literally broke the match for Moregard. According to reports from media outlets present, Wen Ruibo broke the morale of the Swede, imposing an infernal pace and an aggressiveness that overwhelmed Moregard. It was a 3-2 victory that sent a clear message to the locker room. Wen Ruibo had gone to Chongqing to win. After overcoming Moregard, the next test was Germany's Qdang, a solid, consistent player who's very difficult to beat. But Wen Ruibo didn't stop. With an increasingly fine-tuned game, he also managed to overcome the German, proving that his victory over the Swede was no fluke, but the result of exceptional form. And then came the match that brought China and Japan to a standstill. The semi-final. Across the net was none other than Tomokazu Harimoto, the Japanese prodigy who has been China's nightmare for years. Harimoto, with his energy and power, was the favorite for many. The match was a titanic duel. Harimoto didn't make it easy, but Wen Ruibo responded to every blow. Finally, and to the delight of the local crowd, the young Chinese prevailed by convincing for 7-2, booking his place in the final of a WTT Champions. The image of Wen Ruibo, celebrating, fist in the air, went around the world. He had defeated the world number 2 and the Japanese bad boy of table tennis in the same tournament. Simply spectacular. The final pitted 2 youngsters against each other, but with different trajectories. On the other side of the ring was the French Félix Lebrun, the genius of the penhole grip, as he's nicknamed, and currently world number 6. Lebrun is known for his ultra-fast style, his close-to-the-table play, and his ability to drive opponents to despair. The final, played on March 15, 2026, was a true spectacle. From the very first point, it was clear that both players were at a very high level. Félix Lebrun, with his characteristic style, tried to impose his rhythm from the start, and he succeeded in the early sets. The final score was 4-1 in favor of Félix Lebrun, with partial scores of 11-5, 11-8, 9-11, 11-7, and 13-11. However, the scoreline doesn't fully reflect the closeness of the encounter. The third set, for example, went to Wen Ruibo, and the fifth set was decided by a very tight 13-11, where Lebrun had to give his all to close out the match. Despite the defeat, Wen Ruibo earned everyone's respect. The specialized press noted that the young Chinese still arouses great expectations among fans, and you have to put it in perspective. At 19 years old, starting with a wild card in a top-tier tournament, he eliminated the world number 2 and the best Japanese player, and put up a fight in the final against the world number 6. The crowd in the stadium, aware of the magnitude of what they had just witnessed, gave Wen Ruibo a standing ovation and chants of encouragement at the end of the match. This runner-up finish in Chongqing, added to his performances in Doha and Muscat, helped him climb the rankings. According to the ITTF update from March 3, 2026, just before Chongqing, Wen Ruibo was already ranked 27th in the world. After his performance, it's almost certain that his name will continue to climb. approaching that top 20 which seems to be his natural destiny in the short term. Beyond the immediate results, it's important to analyze how Wen Ruibo plays and where he comes from, because, as we've seen, he hasn't reached the elite by chance. As we mentioned at the beginning, Wen Ruibo is a right-handed player with a shake-hand grip, but what makes him special? According to analysts, his main virtue is his explosiveness. He is a player who can pivot and attack with both his forehand and his backhand with astonishing acceleration. He has no clear weak point. His footwork is fast and allows him to cover the table competently. Unlike other Chinese players who are sometimes more methodical, when Ruibo has a touch of European or even Japanese aggressiveness, he doesn't hesitate to take the initiative and look for the winner from any position. This mix of the Chinese school, with its solid technical foundation and an aggressive, modern mentality, is what is yielding such good results. But this level isn't built in a day. Wen Ruibo has been forging his legend in the junior categories for years. If we review his ITTF history, we find a junior record that is simply overwhelming. Between 2023 and 2024, he was the undisputed king of the junior circuit. For example, in 2023, he won the Under-19 title at the WTT Youth Star Contender in Doha. He also won the Under-19 and Under-17 titles at the WTT Youth Contender in Bangkok. The same year, WTT Youth Contender in Spa, Belgium. He also won the Under-19 title in 2023, and in Metz, France, that same year, he won the Under-17 title. That is, he traveled around the world and won. And he didn't just win, he did it with authority. At the World Junior Championships, he also left his mark. In 2023, in Novogorod, he reached the final of the Under-19 individual event, where he lost to his compatriot Lin Shi. A year later, in 2024, in Helsingborg, Sweden, he reached the Under-19 final again, this time losing to another familiar name, Huang Yuxing. And in 2025, in Cluj-Napoca, Romania, he reached the semi-finals. These statistics show us a player who has competed against the best of his generation year after year and has always been in the mix. The lost finals at the World Juniors, far from being a failure, are the best learning experience for what he is experiencing now. He missed that small step to be World Junior Champion, but he is making up for it with interest on the senior circuit. In fact, if we add up his titles, Wen Ruibo has achieved a total of 8 WTT titles throughout his career, combining 2 senior titles, the Muscat 2026 one, and another that records count, and 6 titles in junior categories. He is a winning machine. Well, after reviewing his history, his numbers, and his feats, it's time to take stock and look ahead. What can we expect from Wen Ruibo in the coming months and years? The first thing is to be aware of his context. When Ruibo emerges at a delicate moment for Chinese table tennis. The recent defeats in important tournaments, such as the final in Chongqing itself, or the defeat of Wang Chuqin in the quarterfinals of the same tournament, have put the Chinese Federation on alert. For decades, China has dominated with an iron fist. But the new generation of European and Japanese players, like the Lebrani brothers Harimoto, Moregard or Calderano, have significantly closed the gap. In this context, the emergence of Wen Ruibo is a breath of fresh air for Chinese table tennis. He represents the new wave, the Chinese answer to foreign prodigies. And the best part is that he has already shown that he can compete with them and beat them. His defeat in the Chongqing final against Felix Lebrun, although painful, should be seen as another step in his learning process. Losing a final against a player your own age at such a high level is the best motivation to keep working. Furthermore, the fact that he was able to eliminate Moregard and Harimoto in the same tournament shows that he has the level to be among the top 10 in the world, if not higher. Looking to the future, Wen Ruibo has a path full of possibilities. With his ranking position secured, he will be able to access the main draws of the most important tournaments without needing invitations. We will see him at the upcoming Grand Smashes, at the WTT Finals, if he continues this progression, and, of course, on the horizon of the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Games, where at 21 years old he will be in the prime of his life. His move to the French club GV Hennebon TT is also a smart move. It will allow him to adapt to different playing styles, compete in foreign leagues, and gain experience that is sometimes hard to come by in the highly competitive Chinese environment. In summary, we are witnessing the birth of a new star. Wen Ruibo is not just a promise, he is a reality. He has the talent, the mentality, the physique, and, most importantly, the ability to learn and compete against the best. Comparisons with the greats are inevitable, but it's only fair to let him write his own story. What is clear is that the World Table Tennis Circuit has a new name to follow, a name that promises to bring many glorious afternoons to fans of this sport. And that concludes our in-depth analysis of Wen Ruibo, the new sensation of world table tennis. I hope this review of his career, his victories, and his playing style has been as interesting for you as it was for me to prepare. If you enjoyed this detailed analysis format, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos about the world of table tennis. And you, what do you think? Will Wen Ruibo become world number 1? Can he win a world championship or an Olympic medal? I'll read your comments below. Take care, and see you in the next video.